Australia is a popular education destination, one of the top destinations in the world for people to come and study. Therefore, Australia attracts lots of international students because of the high quality universities, tertiary education. Lots of people from different parts of the world, from Asia, China, India, Sri Lanka, and even Europe, England, US, Canada, they come to study in Australia and achieve an Australian qualification. It can be a PhD or master's degree or bachelor's degree or a diploma or trade qualification. Qualifications can be varied, but Australian qualifications are generally recognized in Australia and any parts of the world. So that's the good news.
How difficult, though, is it to qualify to get into Australia as a student?
Australia has a student program to attract students, and it was quite tough since 2010. However, the new government that was appointed in 2013 decided to give priorities for the Australian economy for the next 10 years. And international education is one of the priorities. And the priorities are that agriculture, oil and gas, tourism, international education, and financial services. International education is important for Australia's economy. Therefore, this government relaxed the student visa rules. Therefore, many students can get into Australia under the current student program, which is a good news for students who want to come and study in Australia. Unfortunately, Australian universities are not cheap. They are relatively expensive to US or UK, but if you can afford the fees, Australia is a great destination to come and study.
So you have to have the financial resources in place before you go?
Absolutely. Financial resources are a must to satisfy the student visa requirements to Australia.
When you've qualified in Australia, can you stay on?
Yes, there are possibilities. If you obtain a master's, PhD or bachelor degree, level qualification, and if you had your student visa, if you had your first student visa after 1 November 2011, then you will be able to apply for a graduate skill temporary visa under post-study stream. So any students who complete a relevant course with 2 years study will be able to remain in Australia on a temporary work visa and work in Australia. That's a starting point. And certain occupations, certain qualifications are able to apply for permanent residence directly. For an example, if you've done engineering, accounting, architecture, nursing, medicine, then you will be able to apply for your permanent residence directly, even without having a temporary visa. So the news is that if you study in Australia, yes, Australian government has pathways for you to continue your residence in Australia.
But again, you've got to make sure that the application is done properly.
Absolutely. There are requirements to be satisfied. The students who qualify for certain areas such as engineering, accounting, nursing, architecture or medicine, they will be able to apply for their permanent residence in Australia without work experience. But they must have right English level, right level of English, IELTS result or alternative English result to be able to satisfy the requirements. However, if you complete your bachelor's degree or master's degree in a different stream, such as human resources, IT, marketing, management, then you have to have work experience. Then you must obtain skilled work experience to be able to apply for your permanent residence. So certain occupations, certain qualifications do not require work experience. But again, certain qualifications require post-qualified work experience. So with work experience, they will be able to obtain a successful skill assessment, and then they will be able to apply for their permanent residence. Again, in English is a must. You must have the right English level, then they will be able to apply for PR. But in policy, in principle, the Australian government welcomes students to come and study and remain in Australia continue to work in Australia.
So it should be possible, once you've completed your course of studies, to gain the necessary experience to stay on permanently?
Absolutely. The temporary visa allows you to gain that experience in Australia. And then that's the starting point for you. And then you can obtain your work experience in Australia and obtain your right English result, and will be able to apply for permanent residence in Australia. But again, if you are unable to obtain that experience in Australia, then you can leave the country and obtain that experience outside.